In a surprise move today, Wizards of the Coast abruptly canceled their early access program, leaving a number of Magic creators high and dry. Greetings, owners of fine luxury cardboard rectangles, my friends. I hope the day finds you well. Crazy things going on in the world of Magic the Gathering today, specifically when it comes to Magic Arena and Wizards of the Coast's early access program, because they really did abruptly come out of nowhere and lay this crazy news on us. And to me, it's crazy for a couple of different reasons. The timing of it is crazy, and the absolute cancellation of it is crazy as well. So, to make sure we're all on the same page, here's how it works. The Wizards of the Coast Early Access Creator Program was for online content creators to have early access to stuff on Magic the Gathering Arena as an attempt to promote the set, obviously, and a side benefit was for the creator, they would get additional exposure as well as extra resources in terms of being given access to all the cards that exist in Magic the Gathering and some gems and other resources in-game to really be able to play it up for that one day. So it was essentially a one-day event, and this happened with every single set. Now, the timing of this is crazy to me because they just sent out the emails today. The emails are actually staggered, right? So not everyone will have received an email. Maybe even by the time you see this video, the emails may not have made it out. But the word is trickling around through Twitter, Reddit, all these different methods. But anyways, what happens is this event was supposed to be tomorrow, literally tomorrow. And they're going, you know what, actually, the event's canceled, and so is the entire program. Now, if you want to know what it says in the email, it says, "Thank you for being an integral part of our Magic community and for your previous participation in MTG Arena Creator Program and Early Access events. As we continue to build our community program to support creators across multiple platforms, Wizards has made the difficult decision to discontinue the Early Access program going forward. The Creator Program Discord will still remain active and serve as a hub for all future creator opportunities going forwards." So essentially, not only are they axing the early access for Strixhaven, but going forwards, this program will no longer be a thing. Now, first of all, you have to acknowledge the fact that doing it this late in the game is a really brutal move because people have planned around this. Wizards of the Coast goes, we're going to have essentially a Magic festival, right? Where for 24 hours, it doesn't matter what time you choose to log in during that period, how long you want to play or whatever, we're going to give you everything, make it a big show. We're even going to give you some codes you can give out to your audience. Now, admittedly, those codes are for very low level, like ICR rewards. So it's not like the codes were something amazing, but still, depending on the level of creator you are, right? I mean, if you're a massive creator, then this shutdown isn't as impactful as if you're a small creator. Now, everybody's affected in terms of scheduling. This is such a massive, not the right style move to do in terms of treating the people involved as if they're genuine people, right? You have, first of all, on the scale of your big streamers, these guys who are actually professional, doing a good job, they make their schedules weeks in advance because their fans want to know what they're going to be doing any given day and whatever to plan around it. That level of professionalism is amazing. It's lost on me. I'm obviously incredibly unprofessional, but I admire people who are professional like that. The idea, like if I had scheduled something out and was like, okay, 2 weeks, 2 weeks from now, guys, here's what we're doing. You're promoting it, you're mentioning it, and then the day before it happens, they come and grab the rug out from under you. Dude, I would be pretty frustrated by that. But as a big creator, you just go, oh, well, I guess I'll just pick like a backup game or do something else that day. Do you know what I mean? Like you just grab something else and go, okay, last minute schedule change. But those are people who do this for a living, right? So they have a little more flexibility in that regard. But then you have your smaller creators. Now, the smaller creators go all the way down to like people who have an almost non-existent following. And I actually do have to give credit in terms of Wizards of the Coast was very wide open with who they would allow to be part of this creator program early access. And I thought that was actually really big of them, personally, because like if you've got somebody who only has 3 people who come out to their streams, how much do you benefit from giving them early access sort of thing, right? And I'm talking about from a corporate perspective. I'm certainly not trying to denigrate people who have a small following currently, because everybody starts with a small following. So understand that what I'm saying in this video is just from the perspective of like a corporate mentality. And so I was impressed with the fact that they opened the door for everybody. But for those small streamers, that's who I feel the worst for, because not only is it like, yo, the rug's been pulled out from under you, these are people who aren't getting paid to stream, right? This is a pure love sort of thing, 100%. Money hasn't entered the picture, and they're just like, oh man, I love this game, and I get to play it a day early, and I get access to all this stuff, and more people come to my streams. Like, if you have 2 or 3 people come out to your streams and you get that early access, then all of a sudden that could mean you're getting 5 or 6 people coming out to your stream. And that may not sound like that much to somebody who hasn't like actually gone on the journey, but trust me, when you see that increase and some new faces come by, that's really impactful. So you go ahead and like however many weeks in advance, you notify your boss at work, a month, whatever it is, because you know when it's going to happen. It's always going to be the day before the stuff gets released on Arena. We're going to have this crazy party. So you book the day off of work because you're like, oh yeah, man, you make sure to get everything done in the week that you need to get done. Like you're ready. You free up this entire day for this event. And then it's just pulled out from underneath you. And it's like, oh, that is a genuine feel bad scenario. So those are the people that I have the most sympathy for in this situation, because that's who it's most brutal for. You know what I mean? Now, the reason that Wizards of the Coast has done this is we can only speculate on it. So I have a few different ideas as to why they may be doing this way. And remember, everything I'm going to say is from a corporate perspective. So if you've got a small channel, don't take anything I'm going to say personally. You know what I mean? Because I'm just trying to view this through the lens of a corporation that ultimately doesn't care about people. It cares about money, because that's how this works, right? So that's the lens I'm viewing this from. It's all about money. So the question is, how much money do these events make Wizards? And how much money do they cost Wizards? Because I think there are people who just go, well, this doesn't cost Wizards anything. And that is definitely not going to be the case, right? They have to pay for the manpower to actually make the event a reality. Apparently, they have to make accounts for each individual user. So for the majority of these early access events, everybody would have an account that specifically had their particular branded name made specifically for these events, right? So if I had an account, it would say the Magic Historian, right? So everyone's account's done like that. With the last one, apparently a bunch of people just had to have these, everyone had the same kind of generic name, because I guess they either didn't have the time or whatever to be able to do everybody's individual account. But you have to give everybody, you have to have access granted to everybody. You have to have accounts granted for everybody. You have to set up a separate server, right? You have to, there's a number of all these things that some people will wave away as negligible, right? And they'll just go, whatever, those costs are small. Well, you don't know exactly what's being allocated to this. How many individuals do they keep available to make sure that it's running smoothly, to handle any problems that come up, to deal with any kind of requests on the Discord or other things that would come about as like side parts of this scenario, where you go, okay, how many man hours are they paying for? Maybe they break their accounting down to the point where they're like, all right, factor in how much of like the month's rent is being spent in those hours being played, how much electricity, like the cleaning cost to have crews come in afterwards, whatever it is. And like, that's something small, sure. Had to pay the janitor to wipe the room down afterwards because there were employees in there or whatever. But still, you add up all those costs and that becomes a line item. And then they look at it and go, okay, look at the cost of this event, what it's taking from us, and what we're getting out of it. And ultimately, when it comes down to it, the majority of the creators in these advanced creator sort of events are people with what I imagine from Wizards of the Coast perspective are non-existent followings. If you have only 3 people watching you, 5 people watching you, then does it really matter to Wizards of the Coast if you don't get to do this event? The amount of money you can put in their pockets was probably written as a 0, but you are adding to the cost. Every single person who gets added to it adds to the cost of creating an additional account, maintaining that account, the strain, like the load on the server. Do we have to use more bandwidth? Like there are things that I'm probably not even mentioning, but from their perspective, the smallest fish aren't even big enough to be worth it, right? So that gets rid of a whole bunch of people in the program. And then when you move up to the top levels, these people, like at the end of the day, what it is it's preaching to the choir. Like if you have a big following or a small following, when you look at it, you go, okay, Wizards of the Coast goes, well, these people are all super into Magic. The people watching these people are super into Magic. The stuff comes out the next day. They know what we're like. As Magic players, we're ravenous for the new stuff, right? So we're going to get it anyways. Somebody streaming and showing the stuff, how much additional hype does that really bring to the table? We've already had the hype of spoiler season. We're at that almost fevered pitch right before you get the first taste of the cards. So really, genuinely, how much is that doing for the game? You're just basically going, hey, you know that thing you're already planning to buy? Yeah. Man, it's going to be sweet. Yeah. And it's like, how much does that really do? That's part of it. So even if you have a big following, essentially, you're irrelevant in terms of early access because you're going to do it anyways. You're going to hype the game. It's like, if you cover Magic, what are you just not going to do the Strixhaven when it comes out? That's not really an option, right? So from the standpoint, again, remember, I'm just trying to view this from a corporation that doesn't care about people and just thinks about money. And from that perspective, even the bigger creators in the Magic sphere don't matter. So what I think is happening, what I think ideally, not ideally, this is not ideal. I guess from their perspective, it would be. I think what's going to happen, and I want to be clear that I'm not a fan of this. I like supporting people who are supporting Magic. But I think what they're going to do is they're going to pick like big people with massive presences who don't really know anything about the game, but it doesn't matter because they're trying to expose it to more people, right? So it's just, let's get Magic in front of as many people as humanly possible. We don't need to worry about the people who are already into the game because they're already into the game. But to get into the game, you have to be aware of the game. So I think, much like some things we've seen in the past, like, what was it, the Silver Showcase, where they had like a bunch of like old school beta, and then they had people who didn't really know anything about Magic who were paid to come in and play with it, where it's just like, I mean, give that beta to old school people who love Magic. What are you going to do, right? It's that kind of a scenario where it just looks like, from their perspective, their money's going to be better spent paying somebody with a big presence to essentially advertise their game rather than paying the money to give access to a bunch of people who are advertising to people who are already willing to buy. If you're already watching Magic the Gathering Twitch streams, like if you're watching Magic the Gathering live streams, you're already pretty entrenched in the game, right? It's like, it's not like Magic is the biggest thing in the world. If you go on Twitch and look at the amount of people who are watching it at any given moment, it's got nothing compared to like pretty much all the big games that matter. A game can come out and the first day it comes out generate enough hype that it dwarfs Magic's viewership, right? So they know ultimately, or I mean, I'm guessing, they figured out that there's just not enough viewership on Twitch in terms of like, how much money do we want to put towards this versus what we're going to get out of it? And it's like, if everybody's just going to do it anyways, because Thursday is going to be a frenzy of people opening and playing with the stuff or whatever, then why have this part of the creator program at all? Although it seems like this was the only part of the creator program that's left. What did they even do with it anymore? I remember they were originally going to have this green light series where they were going to pay for like bigger productions. But as far as I understand, nothing's ever come of that. And we've got this scenario now where they're just discontinuing early access and they still have the creator program. But is there anything you can do with the creator program anymore? I don't even know. I mean, so ultimately, I guess if I am to summarize everything, I think that it's really rough for the creators involved to get hosed this way, especially the small ones. But from the perspective of the corporation, I don't see how their money's not going to be better spent just reaching outside, because anybody who's involved in this stuff is already so deep into Magic that it's irrelevant. It's preaching to the choir, right? But that's just my thoughts on the subject. So let me know yours in the comments below. What do you think is Wizards' like motive behind this? And do you like, are you upset about this, or do you not care? Because I've only seen like a few condensed groups of people talking about it, and I don't know exactly what the general overall feeling is. Anyhow, list of my patrons scrolling by. Thanks for coming by, my friends. I'll see you guys next time.